Hello friends, this is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. So thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. We are going to make these beautiful, beautiful textured socks. They are just so cozy and just beautiful looking, and you're gonna love them. They look like they're really short in this video, but trust me, they're not. I show you later on in the video how they fit, and they're just wonderful. Okay, I used my 24 peg loom. I used Loops and Threads Impressions yarn in the colorway, let's see here, brown mustard, and I got both pair of socks out of one ball. I didn't realize that until after I got most of the video recorded that I was going to be able to make two pair out of there. So you'll learn that with me as we go along in the video. And then I still had some left. So I give you the measurements for this particular pair of socks, which will fit a size 6-7. And I also give you some just instructions on how you can make them bigger. All right, so once you have your yarn and your loom ready, we'll get started. Please look in the description below for the details of the yarn, for the yardage, etc. on it, and that will be all listed in the description below. So thanks for joining me, friends. Okay, so I have my cute little loom. This is my 24 peg loom, and we're going to take our yarn, put a slip knot on the anchor peg. That's this little one that's sticking out here. Helps us hold the yarn in place while we cast on. Okay, so we are going to take our yarn, we're going to do an E-wrap cast on. So we're going to go behind that first needle and in front and behind. Then to the second one, behind, in front, and behind. I call it needles because I also circular knit. And they're needles. Sometimes I call the needles on the circular knitting machine pegs, but we'll get that straight. So behind, in front, and behind, and we're going to E-wrap all around like this, okay? Making sure we've got some slack coming out of our ball. Just like this, okay? Coming around to peg 24, which is right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to push, oops, that happens. You got to be very careful. So what you can do is just put it in the front there and hold it with your thumb. And you're going to push down all these stitches, okay? All these loops. So we can do round 2, okay? We've got it coming from behind peg 24. We're going to go back behind peg 1, and we're going to E-wrap on top of all those loops, okay? Just like that. So now we have 2 loops on every peg. Pushing them down if we need to, okay? Getting some slack out of the back of my ball. Okay, just like that. And then, now that I just wrapped 24, I'm gonna hold this yarn tail over peg number 2 with my finger so that I can knit off the 24, okay? Once I knit off 24, then it holds this in place and it's secure, and we can just keep going around the loom just like this. Okay. Picking up the bottom loop, taking it over the top loop and over the top of the peg. Just like that. We've got our cast on row completed, okay? So we don't count that in our row count. We're gonna push these down, just like that. Easier to push down now, because you don't have to worry about it unraveling. Push them all down, and we are going to E-wrap and knit for 14 rows, okay? So behind the first peg, in front and behind, and then the second peg, behind, in front, and behind, all the way around, on top of that loop from the cast on row. This is where you're going to mark down on a piece of paper or with your row counters that you use, however you keep track, and mark number 1, because we are working on row 1 now. We're going to E-wrap, and we are doing the cuff of our sock. I'm holding that yarn tail over peg 2 or 3, however far you can reach. I'm going to knit off 24, okay? So then I can let go because it's holding it secure. And then we're going to go around, take that bottom loop over the top loop and over the peg, like that, all the way around. Okay, doesn't matter if you scoop up from below or if you go from the top down and over, however you're most comfortable. I personally like scooping up from the underneath and going over, okay? So this is row 1. Okay, make sure that's out of the way. We've got row 1 complete. We're going to push this down. Just like so. I love this yarn. It's so pretty. And we're going to continue the process, marking on your counter or on your paper row 2. Because I like to keep track of what row I'm working on. I mark it while I'm working on it, not when I'm finished, okay? So this is row 2. Click on my counter. E-wrap it just like so till you get to peg 24. You're going to hold that yarn end, you're going to knit off 24, and you're going to go back around knitting off the bottom loop over the top loop and over the top of that peg, all the way around, completing row 2. And you're going to do this for 14 rows, okay? So make sure you keep it counting. You keep your counter so you have it accurate, because you don't want both slippers to be different, okay? So 14 rows of e-wrapping and knitting off, just like this, okay? So keep going, and when you get to 14 rows finished, see me back. Before you go any further, you can loosen your peg there. Okay, your anchor peg. Untie the knot, bring it through. Because if you leave that tied up, when you get length on it, it's going to start pulling on here, okay? Because there's going to be no give. All right, so release your anchor peg now and then continue on for your 14 rows. All right, so we have that done, and oh, it's soft and looking absolutely beautiful. So now we're going to take this and put it in half so that we can have the cuff, okay? So you're going to find your peg 1 right here, okay? And you're going to just bring this up like this, and you're going to follow your row all the way down. If you have to stretch it a little bit to help you see it, that's okay. So here it is right here. We're going to follow it all the way down to the bottom, to that loop that you see right at the very, very base, okay? You're going to make sure that your working yarn is between peg 24 and peg 1. That's very important, so make sure that that's there. Then you're going to take that loop and you're going to put it over peg 1. Now, I don't know why, but I find it easier to go back to peg 24 and continue that way. And so then you're going to just roll that up, and you'll see that where this one is coming off here, you'll see that it's hooked to this one right beside it. So you're going to take that one, and you're going to put it over peg 24. And you're going to keep unrolling, and you'll see it. You'll see all these little loops that cross over each other. There's one and there's another one, and as you go down the row, they stay the same. That's your bottom row. You're going to put them individually over your loop. So see here, you see that one and that one and that one and that one. Very, very easy to see. Pick them up, put them over the pegs, just like that, to create the cuff, okay? So you're going to do that all the way around. Such a fun project. You know, once you get the pattern in your head, once you've made a few and the pattern well, actually, once you've made even 1 or 2, you won't need to look at your notes and you'll just be sailing through this. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pick those up, put them on the pegs, just like that. Okay, make sure that stays in between. Okay, then you're gonna look how beautiful that is. See, you can just see that cuff come together. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna set your counter to 0. We're gonna place that in the middle. We're gonna push these down, okay? Because we're gonna consider them as 1. There's 2 loops on each peg, but we're gonna consider them as 1, okay? All right, so those are all pushed down, and we're going to do our first row of knit. So we're going to E-wrap again, We're going to do a 3-row repeat. This is the first row of the 3-row repeat. Okay, so let's E-wrap each peg all the way around. Just like so. We're going to knit off that 24th one. Okay, so now you've got those 2 loops here from your cuff that we made. Okay, you're going to lift both of them up over that loop and over your peg. If you have to do one at a time like this, that works too, and it doesn't change the look of your project. So you can easily do that if that's easier for you. Okay, otherwise you take both loops and you put them over that top one, just like that. Making sure that you click your clicker to row 1, okay? And here we go all the way around the loom. I'll see you when I get to the end. All right, row 1 of your leg part is complete. You're going to push them down. So row 1 was an E-wrapped knit row. Row 2 is a repeat of that. So we're going to do another knitted row, okay? Just like so. Wrap them all around and knit them off. So go ahead and finish row 2 and I'll see you back. All right, great job. Finished row 2. Now let's do the 3rd row of our 3-row repeat. We're going to leave our stitches up, okay? Because we're going to purl every peg in this row. So we're going to take our yarn, we're going to put it across peg 1, but underneath the loop that's on your peg. Then you're going to put your hook from the top down to the bottom, over top of that strand of yarn. Scoop it up through that loop, just like that. Okay, and now you've got a loop. You're going to take that whole thing off your peg, and then you're going to put that loop on your peg. That's a purl. Okay, peg 2. Hook under the top of that top loop, over top of the working yarn. Scoop it up, create a loop. Take it off the loom, and put it back on. Okay. Let's do another one. You're going to go underneath that top loop. You're going to scoop up that yarn to create a loop, take it off the peg, and then put that loop over. Here's another one, okay? Just like this. And pull. Scoop it up. Sometimes it wants to snag, so you just use your fingers, no problem, okay? And you're going to do a row of purl all the way around, okay? So you go ahead and do that, and then I'll see you back. So there you have it. Doesn't that look beautiful? You can already start seeing the patterning that's happening there. So we've done 2 full rows of knit stitch, then we've done 1 row of purl stitch, okay? So that is our 3-row repeat. Now, I've marked 3. I forgot to mark that last row. See, it's so easy to do. Now, I'm going to mark number 4 because I'm starting row 4 and I'm going to knit. So I'm going to knit row 4. I'm going to knit row 5 and I'm going to purl row 6. I'm going to knit row 7, knit row 8, and purl row 9. So I'm doing this 3-row repeat 3 times, okay? If you want your sock to be, or your slipper to be higher, like a taller on the leg, then you just keep adding as many 3-row repeats as you want until you get to the desired length that you want, always ending on your purl. So you'll do a knit row, and a purl row. Knit, knit, purl. I'm going to do that repeat 3 times, so it's a total of 9 rows. And when I get done, I'll see you back. If you're back with me, that means you've completed your 9 rows and we're ready to go on to the more fun part. I think doing the heel is a lot of fun, so don't get scared. It's fast, it's easy, and it looks absolutely beautiful. And then with these purls on either side, it just connects here. I just love this pattern. It just worked out so nice. And so we're going to work on the heel part now. So let's take a stitch marker or anything that you want to use to mark your 12th peg, whether you put a piece of tape there or however it works for you. But we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm just going to put a stitch marker in there, just like that. Okay? Or you could put just a little mark there with an erasable marker. Whatever you like works, okay? Whatever works for you. And then we are going to go ahead and we're going to knit. We're going to E-wrap and we're going to knit up to and including peg 12, okay? So let's do E-wrap peg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You're going to hold that with your finger, knit off the 12th peg, and then every peg down the row, okay? Here we go. And there you go. All right, so that's one short row. Now we're going to push these down. And we're going to do this 4 times in total. So because our yarn end is coming off of peg 12, we're going to just wrap 11. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, then we're going to knit those off. Just like so. So that's the second time around, okay? Now we're going to push those down. And we're going to wrap back for the third time. So we're going to miss peg 1 because our yarn end is coming off of peg 1. We're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and peg 12. This is why your marker is important to have there, because then you know exactly where to stop without having to worry about going past it, okay? And you're going to knit those off. Just like so. And we're going to go back one more time. So let's push those down. Let's take our yarn end, E-wrap 11, 10, gotta get some slack out of my ball, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, go ahead and knit those off and I'll see you back. Okay, so now our yarn tail is at peg 1 location, and we are going to then go over to peg 12 where our marker is. We're going to take that stitch off of peg 12 and put it on to peg 11. Just pretend that's one strand, okay? We're going to go back and we're going to E-wrap. So peg 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, push those down on 11, 10, and 11. Okay, so we're going to take both of those loops, pretending that they're just one, put it over and knit off on peg 11 and knit down, okay? All the way down to the end. Just like so. Okay, so now we have one loop on peg 1. We're going to take that loop off. We're going to put it on peg 2. Push our work down. We're going to go to the other end. Our working yarn is coming off of peg 11. So we're going to miss that one. We're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Okay. Then you're going to consider these two as one. You're going to take both of those loops, put it over top, and knit off your peg, okay? And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, okay? Our yarn end is on the left side. So we know we gotta, wherever we just knit last, that's where we're gonna take the loop off the last peg and put it onto the one next to it, just like so. And we're gonna work back and forth till we have 3 empty pegs on each side. So now we're gonna take our yarn tail, we're gonna wrap, this is 1, 2, it's coming off of 2, so we're gonna wrap 3. Not so hard, is it? It's pretty easy actually, but it makes such a beautiful result, okay? And we're gonna take those 2 loops, put it over, and over, and oops, and over, and over, and over, and over, over, and over. Push them down. That very next one, you're going to take it off and put it onto the loop beside it, onto the peg beside it, okay? Then we're going to wrap again, going the other direction, okay? Just like so. I find this part very fun. I love to do this, okay? And knit off. Just like that. We have one left on there. And so we know we have one empty peg, two empty pegs. We need 3 empty pegs. So we're going to do one more on this side, just like so. Come around and we're going to wrap. And knit off, just as we've been doing. Okay, there's only one loop on that peg, so we can't work that one, but we have 1 empty peg, 2 empty pegs. We have to make this one empty. So we're going to take it off, put it on to that 4th peg, and we're going to knit back the other direction, okay? Oops. Pull that over. And there you go. We have 3 empty pegs on the left side and 3 empty pegs on the right side. So there you go. You can kind of see, well, you can see that little kind of bowl shape in there, and that is where our heel is. So now we've got to, we can take off this stitch marker, just like that. Get it out of the way. And now we want to join our sides back up to these 3 pegs so we can start working in the round again. So what we're going to do is I find it easier to do the middle peg first. So let me just get this here. I'm going to go on the right side. I'm going to pick up my work and I'm going to find a stitch that looks like it's in the center. So if I can just visualize, that one would probably, I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm going to take 2 of those loops, just like that. There's no exact for this. You just have to make sure that you space it out evenly. And I took 2 loops because I don't want a little hole in there. If I just had 1 strand, it's going to pull, okay? So now I have to decide between this one and this one. So I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm going to make sure I grab 2 strands, and I'm going to put it over top of that needle, or that peg. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to grab 2 strands and pop it on over that peg, just like that, okay? So I have attached one side. Beautiful. See, there's no sure thing about this. You just have to eyeball it and pick what you think is right. But again, always take 2 strands. Okay, so that looks about the middle. I'm going to pick up that. I'm going to take those 2 end strands. I'm going to put it over that peg, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to go over to this one. I'm going to grab in there, put that over. I only got 1 strand from there, so I'm going to pick up 1 more, just for stability and to prevent holes, okay? And then go over to this side and do the same thing. Do I have 2 there? I have 1, so I'm going to pick up another one, just like that, okay? And now I've got my heel all attached, and it looks beautiful. So now we are going to get yarn end to our starting position. So let's take this, and we're going to, this is peg 1, 2, 3. It's coming out of 4. We're going to wrap 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to knit those off, okay, to get us to our beginning location. Okay, so there we have it. From this beginning point, now all we're going to do is repeat our 3-row pattern. So repeat. So we're going to do 2 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, 2 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, all the way until you get the length that you want. For me, I have a size 6 foot, and I am going to do 21 rows. So 7 times the 3-row repeat, okay? So I'm going to do knit, knit, purl, knit, knit, purl, knit, knit, purl 7 times, okay? Then you literally will put your foot you can literally put your foot inside of your sock to see if it's long enough for your foot. I would say that my 21 rows, and then we'll end it with a knit row. 21 rows plus the knit row, which is 22, fits about a 6-7. If you want to do an 8-9, I would say add another row repeat for that, another 3 row repeat. And then, so you'll have 8 times 3, which is 24 rows, and then you'll see me back to finish off the last row for cinching, okay? So for me, again, I have a size 6 foot. So for a size 6-7 sock, do the 3 row repeat 7 times, okay? So we're going to knit the first row, and make sure you use your counter because there's always interruptions of some sort that you're not expecting and you will get lost, okay? So we are going to do our first row of knit. See, that heel was pretty easy, wasn't it? Not hard at all. So first row of knit. Just like this. First row of knit done, push them down. Second row of knit. You're getting the idea. You probably have fast forwarded already. You're not even listening to my voice. That's good. Okay. And so therefore I'm talking to nobody. So we're going to knit off this second row, just like so. Oh yeah, getting caught. Finished my second row. And now we're going to purl our third row. I'll just do a couple here. So we're going to bring that underneath our loop, scoop it up, take it off the peg, and put that loop back on the peg. We're going to do that all around for our third row. Then we're going to do knit, knit, purl again. And we're going to repeat that for 21 rows for a size 6-7 and 24 rows for an 8-9, and make sure that you put your foot in there to make sure that it's the right length for you. And then once you get your 7 or 8 3 row repeat done, come back and see me. All right, so row 21 is done, and if I put my foot inside of there and match up my heel to my heel and then stretch this out just a little bit, it fits perfectly. So now what I want to do to finish off is I'm going to do 1 row of E-wrap and knit, okay? So I've done 21 rows of my 3 row repeat, okay? And now I'm just going to do an E-wrap and a knit off for the final row. So this will be row 22. So once you have your designated amount of rows done following the 3 row repeat, then do 1 row of knit, okay? I'll see you when I get to the end. All right, so I finished that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yarn end and I'm going to wrap it around my loom 3 times. That's 3, and then cut that off. We need a good long length for this, for our cast off. Don't want to run out, okay? So then what I'm going to do is, as though I'm going to purl, I'm going to take that yarn end, I'm going to put it under the loop of peg 1, scoop it up, and just pull it all the way out. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to go under 2, scoop it up, and pull it all the way out. And this will give us an edge that can be cinched closed, okay? So this is how we're going to do it all the way around. And when you get a few on, you can take a couple of these off if you like. But I always make my yarn end extra tight so that I can get all the way around, because I find if I take these off, it loosens these ones and they risk falling off the peg before I get to work them. So I like to have an extra long piece that I can go all the way around before I start taking off my needles, okay? So go around. And do this underneath every peg. And when you get to the end, I will see you back. All right, so I made it around all 24 pegs, and I'm gonna go under number 1 and do that one again, okay? Now I can take all these loops off the pegs and remove my work from my loom, okay? So just lift them up and over the top of the peg, and I'll see you at the end. All right, so isn't that beautiful? Now the one thing that I didn't take note of is these are 2 different colors now because I forgot to start at the same section of the ball, but I'm going to leave that on the video so it's something that you can learn from. But what I'm going to do is make another one from the ball that matches either one of these, and then I might have enough actually to make 2 more, and then I'll have 2 pair of socks. So just before you go ahead and make your second one, make sure you grab into your ball if you're using the same yarn and start at the same place so that your colors match, okay? So now I take this end, but first I'm going to grab it with my fingers. I cut it off a little bit shorter. I'm going to turn this inside out. Then we're going to smooth this top part out so it's not all puckered. It's not all folded in, and get it nice and straight. We're going to pull that tight. I'm going to cut this off even a little bit more. Grab my needle. And we're going to sew it closed, okay? I do not like a knot at my toe, so I'll show you what I'm going to do. Stick with me, and I'll show you what I'm going to do, okay? There we go. We are going to go around that first row of stitches underneath and pull. Keep going till you get a full circle and pull, okay? Then I'm going to go back the other direction. It's going back this opposite way. Make a full circle, and I'll lose my end. These bent needles are perfect for this. You can get them on Amazon. They're metal needles and they have a bend in them. Pick up the stitches nicely. Okay, so now I went around that way. I'm going to go back the opposite way one more time. This will not come undone. Okay, just like so. A little bit more. Just like that. Then you're going to cut off your end. You don't have a knot that bothers your foot, and it's nice and snug because you went 3 different places, okay? 3 different directions. Now you're going to take this other one that was your cast on edge, okay? And then I'm just going to pick up one strand there. Give this one a little knot. Oops. Just like that. Make it really tight. You can do one more. Just like so. And hide this in between the layers. And cut it off. Now what I like to do, just for a little bit of detail work, is this is the row between pegs 24 and 1. And I'm going to just take these little edges here, and I'm just going to pull them a little closer to each other. This is the inside of the sock. I'm going to do this. It's not as important that you do it on the inside, but I think it holds better if you do it on both sides. And I'm going to just bring these edges together all the way down my sock. Just a simple little thing to do, but it just pulls that row closer together. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way down on the outside, or pardon me, on the inside. Then I'm going to turn my sock around, and I'm going to do it all the way down on this side. Just taking the half of this row, that one half, and the half of that row, and pulling them together. As I say in all of my circular knitting videos, when you take time to do the little fine details, you have a much nicer finished product, okay? See, look how that tightened it up and made it look like the other row. Okay, and you just play with it. You can see that that part of the row is already nicer than this other part. Okay, let me just finish that. pull these out. I'm not putting too much pressure. I'm just evening out my spacing. And if I pull too tight, then I'll go into this side here and fix it. Okay, see how that works? So I'm going to do that all the way down, and then you'll never see where your row is here. You're going to go down all the way, and you're going to just loosen those strands to match one another a little bit better. Easy to do, very quick. Okay, so you go ahead and finish that, and then when you're done that, your project will be done. You've got a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful slipper sock. Okay, now again, you can make this part as high as you want, as tall as you want. You can make this as wide, as long as you want, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful sock. Okay, so go ahead and make yourself a second one, and I'll see you back. All right, so I did make a second one. In fact, I made two. I got both these pairs of socks out of that one ball, and I still have like a little ball of leftover yarn. So you can make two pair of socks any size out of one of these balls. Just make sure that you color match them, okay? It doesn't take much work to do that. But these look a little stubby, like I said in the previous clip, but I promise you, they fit. I'm going to show you. I'm going to just put it on. See, look. Can I get my whole foot in there? I have a size 6 foot, okay? And there we go. These are just, they're perfect. But if you had a size 7 foot, they would be perfect for you too. Okay? So that's what I mean. They look stubby in the video, but with these little bumps in here with the pearl rows, they are so cushy. Like, I'm serious. They're beautiful. I love them. Okay? So that's that one. And let's just give you a demo for this next one. I'm not going to give these away. I'm going to keep these. These are going to be my slippers for the winter. I love them. They are so gorgeous. Okay, so there's the second one. So I promised you they would fit, and they do. All right, so there you have it, my friends. 2 pair of slipper socks. Absolutely beautiful. All right, my friends, it was fun spending time with you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed making yourself a pair of slipper socks. I just love them, and I know you're going to as well. So thanks again, and I hope to see you in many more videos. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I have a Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks, that I would love to have you come join if you haven't done so already. I will put that link down in the description below. So take care, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video.